If you've ever finished crocheting and you realize that your neck feels like concrete and your shoulders are up around your ears and your wrists are aching and about to fall off, then this video is for you. Today, I'm going to go through a seated routine which is specifically designed for crocheters but can also be used by other crafters. Welcome to my channel, The Crochet Doctor. My name's Amy and I'm a doctor who crochets. Just a general disclaimer, this is an exercise routine for healthy adults. If you have other health conditions, please seek advice from your general doctor first before continuing. If during these exercises you experience any worsening symptoms, worsening pain, numbness or weakness, then please stop and also see your doctor. This video is for some general exercises and is not designed as a substitute for formal medical assessment and treatment. We're going to start with a warm-up. This warm-up is very generic, but it helps to reduce any tension in your body before you start stretching. We're going to take 5 deep breaths. And on the inhale, I want you to raise your shoulders. And on the exhale, release your shoulders. That was 1. And another. Can you feel it releasing already? Try having your ears over your shoulders at all times and don't let your head drift forward. Another breath. And one more. Pretty simple warm-up if you ask me. The first area of a body we're going to start with is the neck. We're going to work our way down towards the end to the wrists and then the hands and fingers. So starting at the neck, we're going to do chin tucks. You're going to do 10 repetitions of this and it is super simple. All you need to do is give yourself a double chin. Look down, double chin, and look up. Look down, double chin, and look up. And then just keep doing this. Very gently. And very slowly. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see the full flexion. This improves your head posture. I want you to imagine like there's an invisible string pulling up through the center of your head, keeping everything nice and stretched and straight. Relaxing your arms, relaxing your shoulders, and chin. And down, and up, and down, and up, and down, and up, and one last one. Always bringing it up to a nice central position. Moving on to side bends. I want you to try and get your ear as low to your shoulder as possible without bringing your shoulder to your ear. I want you to turn just until you feel a nice stretch along here. And we're going to hold that for 20 seconds. You'll want to raise that other shoulder. Try and resist temptation. Enjoy that really lovely stretch all the way down. And gently bring it back to the center. We're going to do that on the other side and turn. And again, you should feel that lovely stretch all the way down your neck to your shoulder. While we're here, little tip, try bringing your crochet work to you rather than you bending down to your crochet. I don't know about you, but I am a constant bend down, hunch over kind of person. There we go. And back to the center. Next, we're going to rotate our neck and we're going to do 5 repetitions of just turning our head from side to side. We're going to turn right as far as you can go, back to the center and to the left and back to the center. I don't know about you, but my neck is crunching right now. I decided to film this video because I was actually having quite a lot of pain this week. And I thought I would share what I know with you all. That's the rotation. The last exercise we're going to do with the neck is called a diagonal stretch. It does involve looking and getting close to your own armpits. Pre-warning. I'm going to start on my right. I'm right-handed. It's just my go-to. So I want you to look down towards your right armpit. Put your hand gently on the top of your head and very gently give a little bit of traction so you can feel that stretch going down the back here. And we're going to hold this position for 20 seconds. If it's hurting, then take the traction off, and you should still feel that stretch. And come back to the middle. And we're going to go to the other side. We'll look to the left, look down, gentle traction, and again, you'll feel that stretch all the way down here. Another little tip. Make sure you're crocheting in very good lighting. The worse the lighting, the more likely you are to lean over and get closer and closer to your project. And that's our neck stretched out. Feel a bit better? Do you feel a bit more elongated? I know I do. We're now going to move on to our shoulders. This is an area that holds probably the most tension when you're crafting or crocheting, and you tend to find your shoulders become a bit hunched up. So we're just going to loosen everything off. And I want to start with some simple shoulder rolls. Arms by your sides, and I want you to gently roll those shoulders backwards. Okay, full circles, and we're going to do 10 of these. I always go backwards first. You could go forwards if you like. Make sure you get big round movements. And last one. Right, little shake. And we're going to go forwards now. Little tips for the shoulders is if you put a pillow under your elbows, doesn't have to be a fancy pillow, just any form of pillow, raising your elbows up, it really helps your shoulders, gives them that bit of extra support. There we go, that's your shoulder rolls. Next is one of my favorites, which is the shoulder blade squeeze. The idea is you bring your shoulder blades together, which is basically boobs out. A teacher said to me once, if you've got it, flaunt it. If you don't got it, pretend. And relax. And again. And relax. And relax. Relax. And relax. Next up, arm circles. Out to the sides. I want you to point your fingers and pretend that you're drawing circles on walls. All you're going to do is just start with small circles, gradually rotate into bigger circles. Now, how big your circles get will depend upon the size of your room. This is a seated exercise program, and then I want you to start going smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, when you get back to tiny circles, I want you to change direction. So we started backwards and now we're going forwards. and get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. That's it for our shoulders. So we're going to move on to our elbows. I've stepped a bit back from the camera in the hope that you can actually see my elbow movements. In the seated position, hold your arms by your sides and we're just going to flex and extend at the elbow. We're just going to bring those arms all the way up, fully flex the elbow and bring them back down again. And we're going to repeat that 10 times. Little tip whilst we're doing this exercise is always try and make sure you change positions at least every 30 to 45 minutes when you're crocheting. That change in position is probably the best thing you can do for your body. It will just give you a different position to hold and it tries to reduce any tension. And that's 10. Last exercise for the elbows. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit. I want you to stand with your elbows by your sides, bending your elbows to 90 degrees. Have your palms facing upwards. And then I want you to turn so your palms face down. And back up. And down. And the reason we're doing this is to work the other muscles in our forearm, which allow us to do something called pronating, so turning over, and then supinating. And a quick tip to how I remember this is supinating is like you're holding a bowl of soup, and pronating is the opposite. And that's 10 repetitions. Now we're going to move on to the wrists, which is probably where most of you suffer the most. I certainly know it's my weakest point. We're just going to warm them up. We're going to do wrist circles. I want you to do 10 in each direction. I can hear mine clicking. I like to think of it as a Queen's wave and back the other way. So weird not talking for that period of time, but I'm trying to count. Next, we're going to hold something called the prayer pose. It's where your wrists are beautifully bent at 90 degrees, palms together, and hold this for 20 seconds. It gives it a lovely stretch on the bottom of the wrist. Okay, gently relax. And we're going to do the opposite of that. So you put the backs of your hands together, bend your wrists at 90 degrees. I find this one harder, but hold that for 20 seconds. If during any of these exercises you start to feel any tingling in your fingers, then just ease off that stretch a little bit. You may be overstretching slightly. And relax. Now we're going to have a look at stretching the flexors and the extensors a little bit more. I find this gives the most relief, but you should always do this last in your wrist exercises, just to give that wrist a bit of a warm up first. So, straight arm, palm facing the ceiling, hold your fingers and bend them back towards you. And you should feel that stretch happening all the way down your forearm. Even if you can only tolerate a little way, that's better than nothing. And gently relax. We're going to repeat on the other side. So, arm straight in front of you, palm facing upwards, and pull those fingers backwards. You can feel that lovely stretch. If you're changing positions or having a quick walk around in between crochet sessions, just grabbing a quick chocolate biscuit also count as movement breaks. And gently relax that. We're going to do the opposite now. Going back to the original arm, I want you to put your arm straight out in front of you with your palm facing downwards this time. And I want you to bend your hand down. This should stretch all along here, along the back of your arm. And again, don't over pull, pull to where it feels comfortable and relax. And repeat on the other side. So arm straight out, palm facing downwards, pull those fingers and make sure you relax your shoulder. And you should feel that stretch just all the way along the back of that arm. And relax the wrist. That's our wrist exercises done. Just give them a little bit of a loosen up. They should already start feeling a bit better. Coming on to the last part of our warm-up, our hands and fingers. These are also extremely important to do these exercises. If you only take away a few exercises from this video, the wrists, hands and fingers are the key. First thing we're going to do is squeeze our hands up into a fist and then completely release and stretch them as far as you can. We're going to do that 10 times. I had plenty of practice at this as a child because I played the saxophone. I used to have to try and stretch my finger span as much as possible. So this is something I always enjoyed. And it's something you should do regularly when you're crocheting as well. Every time you get to the end of a row, I want you to fully open up your hands. Give them a really good stretch. And it just stops them being in that clenched up position for too long. Last one. The next one is one that most people don't tend to know. It's called the tendon glide. So I want you to hold your hands up, palms facing each other, but at least a foot apart. Okay. I want you to then hook your fingers over into a partial fist and then into a full fist. And then straighten those fingers up and straighten that hand back out. And repeat that process. This just stretches out all of those flexor tendons in your hands. One of the best things you can do for yourself when crocheting is not holding your hook too tight. I am very, very guilty of that. Holding your hook tight increases the amount of tension in your hands and it's not good for them. Also, having an ergonomic hook is also very recommended. Everybody finds different crochet hooks work differently for them, so I never recommend a specific brand. And last one. That one always gives me sweaty palms. Next stretch for the hands is the thumb stretches. This is very, 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 very simple. You're literally going to touch your thumb to each finger in turn and then across the palm. And keep going. I want you to repeat that 10 times. There we go. It is normal for one hand to feel tighter than the other, usually your dominant hand. So for me, my right hand feels much tighter than my left. And last one. And to finish off, just do a few more shoulder rolls just to loosen everything up. And back the other way. Take a deep breath. And relax. And that is your crochet workout routine. Even if you only do this once a day, it's so helpful. Ideally, you should do it every 45 minutes to an hour. If you're doing long crochet sessions like me, or if you're doing market prep, or if it's just your hobby and it's what you like to do all day, every day, just a bit of an exercise routine can prolong your crochet hobby for years and years to come. Look after yourself. If you feel you need to focus on specific areas, all of the chapters are listed in the description below. Go back and work on that specific bit that you find most helps. So if your wrists are hurting the most, take the wrist section, learn the exercises and either do them with me, with the timers, or learn them and practice them yourself. And if you found this helpful, please save this video so you can come back to it later. If you liked this video and found it helpful, then please hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you want to see more from myself. Remember, this is not a replacement of any medical assessment. This is general exercise advice for crocheters and crafters. I hope you're getting some relief from the strain of your hobby and having some good relaxed time. And until next time, you say, bye guys.